A long hood and short rear deck, 2 doors, and a massive V8 engine. In the late 1960s, those 4 design elements combined to create a truly unique American automobile design, the pony car.
This was competing with the cars of the Chevelle SS's, the Mustang Boss, and the other muscle cars, the Pontiac GTO, the Buick GSX, things like that. That's where the muscle car era was in full stride.
In 1964, 2 weeks before Ford rolled out their groundbreaking Mustang, Plymouth introduced American auto buyers to a brand new fastback coupe named the Barracuda, which inevitably came to be called simply the Cuda. 5 years later, as the steroidal pony wars reached their peak, Plymouth redesigned the Barracuda with a new, more muscular body and plenty of go-fast toys like a Hemi engine, a shaker hood, and a pistol-grip 4-speed tranny. The National Automotive and Truck Model and Toy Museum in Auburn, Indiana is currently home to a very special Hemi Cuda. This is probably the rarest example of a 1970 Cuda anywhere on the planet. In car design studios, they call them time studies, and they're never meant to be sold to the public.
This was the first Hemi Cuda, 426, 425 horsepower Cuda that came off the line. This car was meant to be time study vehicles. They were put together, torn apart, put together, torn apart, so the mechanics and everything would know how long it takes to do if they had to do a repair on the car.
In 1970, the Cuda could be delivered to your Chrysler Plymouth dealer with one of 8 different engine packages under the hood, including one of the most potent V8 engines of the era.
Now you want to see the heart and the soul of this whole vehicle. Here we go, looking at the engine. Voila, what a power plant. Massive, big block, 426 Hemi. Chrysler likes to have a little fun with their product. They put the shaker decal on the underside of the hood, and it makes it look like you are seeing the engine shake and the hood shake as it goes.
While the 426 Hemi failed to propel the Cuda to the top of any Trans Am podiums that year, it still had all the right stuff for your average everyday muscle car freaks, right down to that 4-speed stick.
Here we have the distinctive front end of the Cuda. Notice the large grill area to allow more air in to cool that massive power plant, signified only with single headlamps on each side. The body lines of the Cuda come on back and they flow right into the coupe itself. Note we have the rally wheels with the glamour rings on it with Goodyear tires. Also, something famous that they had was the aluminum rockers here as stone guards on their rockers to help prevent the chips from the wide tires. Very, very aerodynamic, but yet sporty, with the hardtop look with the smaller back window and no post. And then it flows right back into the tail end of the Cuda, which is very famous. Like most of the muscle cars, they had a pretty shallow trunk area, a rear deck that is not that large, but it flows right back into the famous tail end of the Barracuda with your 3 lights on each side, tail lights. Notice they are calling it the Cuda. They have dropped the Barracuda just because it is a more sporty, and it's what everybody called them anyway.
Other Cuda options included some wow colors, something to announce your arrival if the growl of the Hemi wasn't enough. High-impact, flashy colors such as Vitamin C, Inviolate, and Moulin Rouge. However, on the inside, no fancy trimmings here. It's all business.
This car has a wood steering wheel, typical muscle car, no power steering other than your own. And then that made it all the more fun and pleasure to drive. There we go to the Hurst 4-speed shifter. And this has the famous Plymouth pistol grip on it. This will fit right in the palm of almost anyone's hand, and for a good hold on to the shift, and when you go through the shift real hard. This way they could come out and they could shoot down the Mustangs and they could shoot down the Chevelles and not miss a gear.
Sadly, the Cuda's high-performance run was short-lived, and in 1974, like most pony cars of the day, the energy crisis spelled the end of an era. Production ended at Plymouth on April 1st, 1974, 10 years to the day after it had begun. Today, the Plymouth Barracuda is respected as a serious piece of muscle from the pony car era. Original 426 Hemi Cudas are now prized collector vehicles, with bone stock versions like this one commanding sky-high prices.
The retail on this would have been $3,164. The current owner, who cherishes it tremendously, would sell it for the right price, but he's looking for a seven-figure price to sell it.
Back in 1970, the Cuda was designed to take on a stable of pony cars. Today, more than 4 decades later, it remains one of the most desirable muscle cars in the world, in style and in steel.